which is a place where community and creativity come together. We are live on both YouTube and TikTok tonight, so we have two different devices. I am going to bring up my backup account of TikTok, so maybe I can see some comments a little easier. I do not have a backup account of YouTube, so I just have to look at what we got there. All right. There we go. All right. So we do different things here at CarolJo's. It isn't all just about like the jewelry that I have created. It is about doing tutorials. Tonight is a tutorial, but is it our different format than our normal tutorial? Normally we do like step by step and I show you how to make jewelry or accessories. Hi, Candy. But tonight is more of a discussion type. Hi, Cece. Where we're going to do the building blocks of jewelry is what I titled it. It is like a beginner-friendly dive into all the different things that we can use to make jewelry. So we've got that. We do chats twice a week. We have another chat tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central. Our other tutorial will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. where I'm going to show you how to make a mini wristlet. We've done the silicone bead wristlet ones, but we're going to do a mini one tomorrow. So we're going to have that. We also do throughout the week live events. Normally our live events are where I have items up for claim that we've used on the tutorial. This week we're not doing that. We have a Friday, Black Friday, and a Small Business Saturday event going on. Friday starts at 2 p.m. Central. Hi, Lori. Saturday is going to start at 10 a.m. Central. Hi, Maria. Hi, Robin. And what we're going to do with those, thank you for the heart me, is we are going to have our likes help dictate what you guys will get for creative credits. If you will go and if we get to 10 to 90K, 110 to 190K, every 10 to 90 of every 100 denomination. Thank you, Maria, for the heart me. I will be doing giveaways where you guess a color and then whoever wins it, who guesses it first, will win, where I will draw out of a bag what your creative credit will be. It would be, hi, Rachel. It will be different things, like one item will be anywhere from like 15 to 25% off. There will be, you can have 1 to 5 items and anywhere from 15 to 25% off of an individual. And I'm saying that wrong. We're supposed to say creative credit percentage off, a percentage. Sorry. Hopefully it'll be like, okay. So anyway, so we've got that going on. And then for every like 100, 200, 300, we will be giving away to the winner discount on your entire list. I'm not supposed to say the word discount. Oh, I'm really sucking at this one tonight. You will get creative credit percentages towards your order. So if you won the 10%, your items total $50 for your list, you would have a 5 value towards your list. I hope that makes sense, everybody. So it's all going to be on how many likes we're going to get is how many things that we're going to be giving away. The 100, 200, and 300, you can only win that one once. You can win one time between the 100 and 900, or one for the 10,000 to 90,000, and then it starts over at 110,000. You can win again at that one. So thanks for saying that, Maria. I was like, as I say, hi. Did I say hi to Lori? I don't remember saying hi to Lori or Robin. Maybe I did and I just missed it. I'm like, whoop, today. So that is what Friday and Saturday will be, and those are going to be on TikTok only. Okay, I'm just totally whooping over everything here because I keep saying the wrong words. But I want to get into tonight's topic. Hi, Anna. Tonight's topic is titled, it's a tutorial, and it is titled Building Block of Jewelry. And what it is that, I just threw my hair up in a ponytail. In all honesty, I left a little bit in the front and then threw it back in a pony. Because my rest of my hair, it's getting long and it's driving me nuts. Next week it gets cut. So what's your unrelated question, Nordic Luna? I'll wait. You can ask it. We can ask it, and might be able to get an answer before we begin. Thank you, Cece. It's literally just grab it up and go. And it was funny because you can tell I wasn't very smooth over here. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't have to be perfect. I just get to be me. And I actually only have foundation on today. I have no other makeup on. I have no eye, no cheek, no contour, no highlights, nothing. Just to get rid of some of the red. I don't know how to say that, Allie. Sorry. I'm like waiting for I'm pausing for a moment. Because I'm waiting. Thank you. Yep, it's my natural. Thank you, guys. You know, when I say my hair does weird things because of, yep, I see you. I was going to say, I see your comments. We can all look however we want. And that's the beauty of TikTok and YouTube is you can look whatever you want. Would I be able to do a bead night for beadables, not silicone? Are you talking about like the beadable bars and the beadable keychains and the bookmarks like what we had earlier today? I have, let me see, we also have like keychains, that type of stuff. Yeah, I'll put that on the calendar, but let me write it down so I don't forget because I am awful about that. All right. Yeah, that's not a problem. I can do that. Yay. All right. That was an easy one. I just need my Dr. Pepper. When I get through, what I want to do is get through Friday and Saturday and see what I have left over on things like the findings, which we're going to learn those terms tonight and see if we just have a finding night. What will happen, and I know that what will happen is that we don't usually need a lot of findings. We're having a discussion, Joya, about the building blocks of jewelry. What do we use to make jewelry? Is that you don't use a lot of it, but there are just times when I think I just throw it in there, and if it's not something you need then, you don't remember it. And that's the hard part. And I want you guys to be able to be like, I need this, I can go get it. So that's what I want to work on, is getting some of that items up on the home space so that you guys can get it when you need it. Joya, everything but the kitchen sink is what we need for jewelry. I love it. So when we think about the building blocks, you're welcome. We need to think about how we can get the piece to function as jewelry and how to get it to hang correctly. And how do we make sure, you know, I always talk about when I'm doing wire, I use sterling silver so that it lasts. You know, we got to think about those. So this is really, you know, it might be a beginner's type thing, but the thing is that there's going to be terms in here that even if you're a seasoned person, you might not have remembered it, or I might not have heard it, but I called it something else. And so I just wanted to have some of the common terms that we use. And so that Lolly, I was thinking of you tonight. I gotta pause. I'm not trying to plug this. I really truly was thinking of you. When I was getting in the first hour on Friday, so somewhere around, it's gonna be possibly closer to 3 o'clock. I will have a lot of donuts. I have like 5 or 6 donuts right there. Just wanted to let you know. And they're natural donuts. Like, I just wanted to let you know. I don't know if you still use donuts or not, but I thought of you as I was packaging those up. But anyways, back to this. So I just wanted to have a discussion about the terms. Yep. And it's like once we keep repeating them, it would help. Okay. So that's why I want to say some of these things. I love it. Are the donuts cream filled? Nope. They have holes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the things that may confuse you or may help, maybe, as I call them, light bulbs going on, and you're like, haha, that's what it is. So I just wanted to take the time to do that. I don't know if I'm going to get through this whole list today. And so part of me is like, do I continue tomorrow or do I wait till next week if we don't get through it? So think about that as we're going through this. So components we talk about are the pieces that we use to create the jewelry. I love it. So think of it as your beads, the charms, spacers, pendants, your wire, your cords, and that type of stuff. That's what you use the components to make your jewelry. Now we got to think about findings. Finding is another term that we use. So findings are like your clasps, your jump rings, the earring wires that you use. It's the stuff that makes the jewelry wearable. So that's where you're going to have a little bit of a difference. I talk about when I say here, you can claim all of the things, the components and the findings and da-da-da-da-da. And when I talk about the da-da-da-da-da, it's usually little pieces that are underneath those too. So, and when I was talking about earlier, we were talking about, having jump rings and that type of stuff. And I really am truly thinking when I think of that is that night would be a finding night where we would just have all kinds of findings. We'd have jump rings. We would have toggle clasps. If I have lobster claw clasps, all of that type of stuff. Now your components are going to be, your chain, your beads, and all that kind of things, your pendants, and when I do create the events, you could get those mini bows and put them on studs. I love it. And somebody was filtered. And so that's where I want to think about when we were talking about having a special night, it's for the findings. That's what I was really, really thinking about, is having one for that. Do we need a lot of our findings all the time? No. Because let me ask you this question. How many times, Buttercup left her stuff in here and I just tipped it over. Hi Geraldine, how many times do you use a lobster claw clasp? How many times do you use a toggle clasp? Those are different types of closures or clasps that you use as a finding. They're good to have, but you don't always need a lot of some of them. I need a lot of head pins because I use a lot of head pins in when I create. I like to have my lobster claw clasp and my 12 by 6 millimeters. I like having my 6 millimeter split rings. Those are things I use a lot of. But if I go in, I don't use a lot of toggles. I don't use a lot of magnetic clasps, so there's different things. But do I want them to have them? Yes. Joya uses lever back earring wires. I use the fish hook. And so that's where you have to think about, what do we use, but yet you want to have a little bit, this is the way I feel, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on the findings. I want to have a little bit of everything, but I want to have a lot of what I use the most. And that's why I said, you know what, when we get to like having a finding night, it's going to be where you're going to probably be like, I just need one pack. Nope, I don't need that. And that's usually, and this is coming from a business perspective, when you think that way, does it make sense to do a lot of those? No, it doesn't make a sense to have once a month a finding event. But once a year, yes. because it's out there to help remind you, what could I be missing from my collection? So think of it from that aspect, and why I would say it'll probably be once a year event that we would do a finding one. But we'll do it. I don't have a problem doing it, because we all need to see what are some of the findings that we have out there. Okay? So that's the difference. I'm hoping you guys understand the difference between findings and components, okay? Then we're going to take a dive into now all the different types of different things that we can have. What screen? What? I'm like, huh? Yes, I will. Hey, Cindy, how are you doing? I will still scatter just like I do on my Friday night events. I probably wouldn't change from that. But the thing is that if you guys know me, you know about twice a year, we bring out the polymer clay Heshy beads. Do we need it more than that? I don't think so. And even sometimes I wonder if we only need it once a year. So there's some of those sales that we're gonna, events that we'll bring up. Aha! Jiminy. Ah! And so that's where we just need to think about, you know, why I do what I do when we bring things up to events. But I want to bring things to you guys that make sense. And then when we're talking about them, we can call them by the right name. What is a Heshy bead? Heshy bead is a, like a slice. It's a thin, just slice. It can be anywhere from like a 0.5 millimeter to 2 millimeters usually. You know, when you think about like the polymer clay Heshy beads, think about the, I think they're the Hawaiian, or when you go to a tropical area, the necklaces that you get. It can be made out of coconut. It can be made out of acrylics. They can be made out of wood. They can be made out of polymer clay. But just think about those necklaces that you see. Sometimes you'll see them in bracelets and such. Yeah, we'll do that. Yep. I do not carry seed beads because there are so many different brands to seed beads. You have the Chinese seed beads, you have the Japanese, and you also have the Indian seed beads from India. And then once you get within that, you will have different sizes. So you can have like the 15-0, 12-0, 11-0, 8-0, 6-0. You know, you have different sizes. And then you have about 100 to 200 colors of each. Okay. So that's why I do not carry seed beads, is that one is extremely hard. I do have a package of seed beads. You guys are going to laugh at this. I do have a package of seed beads that someone requested, and then they have like what I will call is ghosted me since I had them. And I don't know what to do with them because I just have one package. I'll show you what that looks like. You guys are going to just be like, oh. Seed beads come in like, this is a 50-gram packet. I can get them in 50 grams that look like this. And this is an 11-0 cylinder seed bead. And I'm just like, I have a package and I don't know. I mean, so I can get them this way. And if I would do them, I'd just be like, hey, you're getting this. It would be whatever the price. I have no idea. But, you know, I could do that. But then I would need to know exactly. These are, I did request, or when I ordered them, yes, this one is uniform. You can get them where they're not uniform. And so that's why I don't usually get into seed beads, is because I don't know what size and colors, and there's so many. If you're asking about what does uniform mean on a seed bead, they're all the same size. They're all the same length. So the roundness of them and the length of them are all the same, uniform. Whereas you can get others that are not that way. So usually your Japanese seed beads are going to be more uniformed. Your Chinese usually are not. There's a difference in price. So if you're looking at, yep, nope, you can ask it. So like here, 50 grams, if it's uniform, I'm just going to make up prices just to give you an example, okay? Let's say this is uniform, it's an 11.0, so they are, and depending on if it is silver filled, gold filled, there's a lot of things that can go into making a seed bead, different fluctuation in price. But let's say they're uniform, they will be like $2.50 to $10 for a bag, a 50-gram bag. I'm just throwing out numbers there. Whereas if you would have the Chinese seed beads where they are not uniform, they may be $50 to $5. When I do kids jewelry, I use the ununiform ones because they're just spacers in between beads on a bracelet, and it doesn't have to be exactly uniform. If I'm going to create a bracelet that I have like a peyote stitch or the spiral stitch, I want them to be uniform so that my work looks really good. Because if I'm going to spend the time and energy into creating that, I want it to look professional. The ununiform ones aren't as professional looking. And so yeah, the peyote stitch is a flat stitch where it is like stepping stones. Each row is a little half as high as the last row. The other one that I was talking about, the spiral, it is like a tube that goes around and around in a circle. There's the big brick stitch that is flat, but it isn't. The brick stitch usually lays, the rows lay the same. You don't have the jumping up and down in the brick. I don't know the brick. That's the one stitch I never learned. And I wish somebody would do a tutorial on it, or I might have to watch a YouTube to figure that one out. But when I was working in the store that I worked at in Sioux Falls, I taught the classes on peyote. I taught the spiral. What else did I teach in there? We did some macrame. You know, we did a lot of different things there, and I know that. But the brick stitch is one that I never learned there. I just have never learned it. We're totally going all over the place here, but we're sharing information that needs to be shared. Thank you, Patty, for the gifts. So yeah, so then there's a lot of different things that go into seed beads. We can talk more about seed beads. I want to keep going here so I don't lose my train of thought, okay? So with the findings, one of the things that you use for findings is closures or clasps. You're welcome. We have the one that I use a ton, you guys all know, is the lobster claw clasp. I personally do not use that on bracelets as much because I have a harder time closing. When you're trying to close your lobster clasp, it's a little bit harder to do that on a bracelet. I use it all the time on my necklaces. Unless my necklace is at least 24 inches, I always have a lobster claw clasp on it. And if it's over 24 and I can get it over my head, I don't put a clasp on it if I don't have to. Save the time and energy of putting on a clasp and just allow people to put it over their head. Patty is asking, are check beads uniform? More times than not, they are. Check beads are, it's from Czechoslovakia. They were like the glass cutters of the European area. And so they had a really good, they have a very good thought or process in place, and people that can do the glass cutting to get the faceted. So we're at 10K, so we're going to do a giveaway. All right. We're going to do this color. So everybody put your guesses in. I will put up a new goal as soon as this is done. Can't do it while it's in the middle of doing this. So you might have to remind me. Okay, who got it? Paige, you are the winner. You will get 5 creative credits towards your list. So congratulations. The color was aqua. Someone else got it, but I didn't see it before I closed it down. Sorry. But congratulations, Paige. You will get 5 creative credits. That's all it takes is one. You just got to be the first one. Sorry, Lolly. Oh. But yeah, so lobster class, I love them for necklaces. You're welcome. I just don't care for them on bracelets. If I'm going to do a wire bracelet, I am more so going to do the toggle class. They're easier for me personally, but there are still people that struggle with the toggle closures. I actually figured out when I was doing in-person events, the best way to do bracelets is stretch. I would say I probably sold 3 times the amount in stretch bracelets over a wire bracelet closure, whether it be lobster claw clasp, the toggle, magnetic, any of those. It's just the way people wanted stretch because it's easier to get on and off. So just to let you know, the others type of clasp that you can get is a magnetic. And I was showing you some of those that I have in my own collection. You can get those with rhinestones on them. You can get them with just a barrel. The one thing that for magnetic, you don't want to use heavy beads with those. And you also want to be careful what you are around while you're wearing it. So depending on the metal that is used to make your car, you may lose your bracelet on a car because it's magnetic. Not all cars are like that, you know, but you have to be careful. So I'm not a big fan of magnetic because I've actually had mine stick to the car. It stays. So if you get in your car, you drive to where you're going, you get out, and your bracelet's on the car. That happened. Yes, I only drove a couple of miles, but so that's why. That is totally why I don't like magnetic jewelry. Nope, I didn't lose it. It was tucked to the car. It was a good magnetic. Yes, they are. So people do wear magnetic bracelets because of pain. I use the hematite magnetic beads instead for those styles of bracelets and put it on stretchy. And when I do that, the stretch cord that I use is usually a 1 millimeter to a 1.5 millimeter because the hematite beads are heavier. Yep, you got it. Yes, like Crystal Tech. Yep. I do get, getting in the magnetic hematite is at a higher price point, so I don't bring it in that much. And so if you want me to get some in, you just need to let me know. I mean, we're talking like the non-magnetic hematite is going to be like $3 to $5 a strand usually, whereas the magnetic is going to probably be $5 to $8. So if you want me to bring it, I can look for it and bring it in. You guys just need to let me know. I have had it. I just don't find it a lot. And when I do, it is usually at a higher price point. And I don't mind bringing it in if I know we're going to be able to have it go out. That's my whole premise right now is in and out. The magnetic hematite is usually not in different colors. It's usually in the hematite color, which is more of that like gunmetal to blackish color, because it's not real true black and it's not gunmetal. It's in betweenish, if that makes sense. All right. Thank you, because I keep saying it. So far, cross our fingers, we've been good. Thank you for reminding me though, because I'm not going off of a script that says all of this. You're welcome. Have you guys heard of the hook and eye closures? I do not have any. And the reason being is that anytime I've used the hook and eye, um, they always bend and I lose the bracelet. Yep, I've gotten hearts. Yep. And so that's why I don't have any to show you. But they have a hook on it and like a circle that you put it through, or a little loopy up that you put the hook in. I just don't find a secure one. And that might be just me and what I've found, but I'm not a big fan of the hook and eye. They do have an S hook with an eye. Those I will use if they are stainless steel. And it's because it's an S, and so you can move it a little bit and get it off and get it on and press it down. Those I like. But hook and eye, like plated ones, they're not mine. So Joya's in the same club as me. So those are some of the things, the pros and the cons about different types of closures and what to use them with. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. If anybody has a different type of class that we didn't talk about, please put it in the chat and we can talk about them, okay? Now we're going to go on to the circle in the bar is called a toggle class. Lori, that's the one you're talking about. The circle with the class. It could be a heart. It could be, I've had squares. I've had diamonds. I've had hearts. I've had circles. I'm trying to think what other shapes. The biggest thing that you got to remember with those toggles, yep, I love using those on a bracelet because to me, they're easier to get on and off. Some people can't get them on and off, and that's why stretch is best. But if I have a wire bracelet, that's what I use. I don't do them on necklaces unless I'm doing it as a focal point in the front. These are just my opinions. You guys can say what your opinion is, because my opinion is not the only one. I want you all to know that. I am not the believer that I'm the right. We all can do whatever we want, and I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you do more of the lobster claw class for necklaces and toggles for bracelets, or what do you guys do? I was thinking about trying to figure out how to get a document out there to go with this and make them like short, but I'm like, I still have to finish the cord and wire one. Yep, you can take and turn that around and put your closure in the front, and using that toggle just gives it a little bit of a pow to it. And so you can just bring that to the front and you can do beads up and then have it stop back here type thing. And it just gives it a little bit of different things and a different look. So I want you guys to always think, you don't have to always just do it the way I show you. You guys can figure out. Yep, and see, I can't see the toggles in the back, and it's hard for me to feel them. So when I do the lobster claw class on necklaces, that's what I do in the back. In the front is where I'll do the toggle. I actually do have one that I do the lobster claw class in the front. It's got larger chain and then a larger lobster claw class. And then I have things that I call them little pendants. They're interchangeable pendants that you can just have dangling down. All the different things. Yep, you can do that. Yep, the toggle in the front. Robin's got one. So that's where, we can think outside the box and go, okay. Yep. And so, you guys are getting ideas from everybody else. I'm loving this. Thank you for everybody putting their stuff in the chat. All right, we're going to go to, what's the difference between jump rings and split rings? So the jump ring is a single loop of wire, and it's just a circle, one circle. Whereas a split ring is two circles. And so you will see sometimes split rings are referred to as a double loop jump ring. Yeah, and so we will have, I can tell you right now, in the first probably 10 items, like I think it's even items 1 and 2, but don't quote me. Hold it. I have it right here. It's sitting on my table. I can tell you. No, item 1 and 2 are split rings, right? Yep, item 1 and 2, well, item 1 is a split ring. Item 2 is a jump ring. Item 3 is a toggle. I know I have another one in here. It'll probably about 10 or 15 in, we have a different toggle. So we're going to have all of the things we're talking about right now, we will have on Friday and Saturday. I didn't mean to have this conversation before we were going to do it. I just thought it was a great place to put this in because of the way this week is. In all honesty. So, but I haven't found them yet. I'm still looking for those. I'm like, I know I have them. I just don't know where they're at in there. Well, hopefully everybody gets to be winners and has lots of creative credits. That's what I'm going to say. I was looking at this and I'm like, holy, this could be fun on it. I'm like, I'm hoping it works out. Crossing everything for y'all. So split rings, you will sometimes hear them called split rings. Sometimes you will see them called double loops, jump rings, double loop jump rings. And it's just because it goes around twice. Now, a jump ring can have a opening in it, and that allows you to open and close the jump ring. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is that's how you open and close jump rings. You don't go whoop, because that distorts the circle. Friday is 2 p.m. Central. Saturday is 10 a.m. Central. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we're just going to keep going. There might be times where I'm just going to look at you and go, I need a 15-minute pause type thing, and we'll keep it going, and then we'll jump back in. But we're just going to keep it going through into Friday night. Saturday, we're going to start at 10, and I haven't decided where we're going to end it. But however long we end up going, just to let you know, it may push us getting all of the lists out. I might not get them out until Monday. I just want to be totally upfront with everybody. If it gets to be a lot of items that we've gone through and such, and your guys' baskets are larger, or if we have a lot of baskets, it may not be till Monday. And the reason being is that with the creative credits that you guys will be having, it means that I have to manually do all of the items in there if you're a multiple winner. Or if you're an item winner, I'm going to try to find the largest item and put your best one to that. So the items are going to be different. Both days, they are going to be different. So I'm going to start with 2 o'clock on Friday with tub number 1, and we're going to go through however many. And if we end on tub number 5, we're going to, start on tub number 6 on Saturday. And I'm not going to do a round 2. I want to try to get through as much of it as I can and see where we go. Does that make sense, everybody? Sorry, I totally did not get that question, so thank you, Ashley, for explaining that. I'm just like all over the place here. But so for split rings, think of split rings as a keychain. You know how you have the 2 rings and you put your keys on your key ring? That is a split ring. It's just a large split ring. You can get them in small sizes. I do not like using like a 4mm split ring. They're very hard to open. They hurt your nails. They are very hard to use the split ring opener on a 4mm. I usually say 6 and above for split rings. But you can use small ones for jump rings. And so I've got even down to like 3mm jump rings all the way up to, I have some that are almost 20. Oh, good. Thank you, Robin. So you can get them in all different sizes. You can get them in different gauges. So a thicker gauge, which would be a smaller gauge number, the harder it's going to be to open. So if you've got a heavy object that you want to add to something, use a larger gauge jump ring. It'll stay closed. I actually use split rings more times than not jump rings because I don't want my items to open. So that's just my tips and tricks on that. Usually when you do jewelry, 4 to 8 millimeters is the average, but sometimes I want those larger ones, like when I was talking about the up to 20. Those are ones that I want a jump ring to be a focal point of whatever I'm doing. And I'll use the bigger ones, or I'll use the textured ones, you know, because they come in where they're not textured and textured. So that's jump rings and split rings. Anybody have anything on that they want to add? Please put it in the chat, just like everything here. Next one we have is our head pins, eye pins. I love textured. I think they just add something to it. So think of a head pin. It can either have a ball end or the flat end, and it allows the beads to stop. The round or the ball ones will give your item that you're creating a little bit more decorative look than a flat, but sometimes you don't want the ball on the end. A ball head pin is a little bit more in cost than the flat. You can get them in stainless steel, you can get them in iron, you can get them in aluminum, you can get them in brass, you can get them in any metal. So just to let you know, they come in everything. Stainless steel is extremely hard for me to use, but they don't tarnish. And what I mean by hard is because stainless steel is very hard to manipulate when you're going to use it. Your one-step looper, sometimes stainless steel will dull it or break it. So just be careful with what you're using it with. And it's harder on my hands. My hands hurt if I use stainless steel a lot, but some people prefer it. And we had over 20K, woohoo! All right. Let me come up with another color. All right, we're gonna go with that color. So go ahead and put it in there. I almost drank Buttercup's water. It smells like somebody made popcorn. Like we had a big supper and did someone make popcorn? That'll be our last popcorn. We have to go grocery shopping, but I don't like to do it during this week. It's like the worst week to go to the grocery store. This week and the week before Christmas. And I'm and Lulu's eating popcorn as I'm talking about it. Oh, somebody got it. And I missed a comment back here. Ooh, yum. Are you making pumpkin pies there? All right, Maria, she guessed the color silver. So you are going to get 5 creative credits, Maria, toward your list. So congratulations. I eat it every once in a while, but I don't know. Okay, so around here, and I don't know if this is all the Aces hardware or not. Aw, that is so cool he's doing that. They make popcorn in the store, and you can donate money to a charity that they'll give it to you. And I got some the other day, and I was eating it, and I brought it home because I didn't finish it, and then Buttercup took it. I love popcorn too, but I love movie theater popcorn, but not a lot of extra butter. All right. So one thing to think about, I didn't say about head pins and eye pins. And oh, I didn't tell you what an eye pin. An eye pin has the loop on both ends, so it allows it to become a connector. So your beads on that then create a connector to be able to use. You can do them on necklaces, you can do them on bracelets, you can do them on earrings. It just makes a connector. And you can use a head pin and do that, or you can use just regular wire and make it like into an iron pin. Because just remember, it's wire that makes your head pins and your eye pins. So you get to use that. The gauges on those, the lower the number of gauge, the thicker the wire will be for both of them. So you have to be careful because sometimes they don't always go on your beads easily because of the gauge. Just something to think about. Test your beads out before you do, plan it all out. And then you've got it all planned out and then it doesn't work because your head pins that you have are too large for the whole of the bead. One of the things is that when you use pearls, they need a very small head pin. Usually you can only use sterling silver with pearls because they're so small. Yep. I actually don't use eye pins and use a spool of wire instead. Reason being is that I can never recreate the one end of the eye pin and have it be the same on the other end. And that's just me. So it's not saying that you guys can't do it and use them, but ooh. Does he like hire out and like send pies to all of us? Yep, I would do the same too. I'd cut it off in the weirdest spot and they wouldn't be equal and I'm symmetrical. So yep, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right, next section we got is cords, wires, and stringing material. So stringing material is anything that you would put beads on. Just think of it from that aspect. You got your stretch cord, your bead wire, your memory wire, the cords like we just had this last weekend at that event. Those are all your stringing material. Stretch cord. That is so sweet, Cindy. I love it. You don't see that very often anymore. So when you hear about it, you're just like, oh. Seriously, it just gives me the ooh. Like, Ryan hasn't been feeling good with his whole sinus and everything. And his brother called us tonight and said, do you want us to bring supper over? People don't do that hardly anymore. And so I was just like so touched by that. We'd already ate supper, but it's just those little things, just being neighborly. I know it, but you have to understand, his brother's our neighbor too. And you just don't see it. So that's why I'm like, ah. So, stretch cord. I know. Think of it as, stretch cord has different, like we were talking about. You can get the 1 millimeter, and that's the diameter of the cord. You can get the 1.5. So if you're using really heavy beads, I use the bigger. I don't use the bigger a lot because when you are trying to get it through, it's just not as like, here, this is the 0.8. It moves. It doesn't move a lot, but it moves. The 1.0 and the 1.5 doesn't. They look like bubbles. And so I just prefer like the 0.8. You can do the 0.7 or the 0.8 on a majority of your bracelets, and that works. If I am going to have a bracelet where I need to cross my stretch cord between two, you do the 0.5. The reason being is that you got to think about most drilled holes in the beads are a 1 millimeter hole. If you're going to do a 0.7 or a 0.8, multiply that by 2, it is bigger than the hole. And so that's where I say, geez, Robin, I just saw that. Holy buckets, that's a long time to have that infection. Oh, yucky. We'll keep you in our thoughts. Bead wire. Bead wire comes in multiple number of strands for the wire. What it is it's the number of wires woven together, and then there's a clear coating around the wires. So there's 7, there's 19, 21, 49. I try to do the 19 or 21 because they have a little bit more flexibility than the 7, and they're not as flexible the 49, but 49's price point is up there. So that's why I use that one. So that is what I'm going to say about the wires. Memory wire, it's memory wire. It holds its shape. That's the great one that you can do for the bracelets. Did you know they make memory wire for necklaces? It turns it into a choker, but did you know they made it? I just have to ask that question. They make memory wire for rings. I don't like using memory wire rings because they're too big for my finger, in between my fingers, and it just drives me nuts having that much in between my fingers. But you can use it. Some people love it. I'm just not a fan of it, but there are people that love it. But yeah. Yep, it holds its shape. It doesn't, it takes it. What do I use memory wire for usually? Bracelets. The bracelets is what I usually use memory wire for. I like this style here. I don't wear very many memory wire, but this is a memory wire one that, you know, I would do memory wire bracelets. The necklaces, I can't handle chokers. And so for me, I'm not a big fan of it because it's a choker. Ooh, yes, you can do the wine glass. You can use the ring one for wine glass charms, you know, to be able to differentiate wine glasses or for seasonal things, that type of thing. But I've never seen ornaments made with memory wire. Now, I'm going to write that down and see if I can find something for it. Do you use class on my personal necklaces? I use for my necklaces, if they are shorter, I use a lobster claw clasp. The longer ones, I don't put clasps on them. I just slip them over the head. Save myself some steps from making something, especially if you're gonna make it to do in-person events. And the reason being is that then you don't have the cost of that closure in there. Oh, see, and there are different sizes to memory wire, just to let you all know. And the memory wire, if I'm using lightweight beads, I don't mind, like this here is going to be about as, these would be too big for me to be able to do this. It gets too tight on my wrist. I don't like my bracelets tight. And see, this is like sits right there and they're wrapped around. Normally this is where I wear my bracelets, but I have room in between here. So like if I take this off and I'm gonna move this down, do you see how I have a little bit of room? I like that room. That's just my personal preference. Everybody is different. That's the one thing you gotta, if you or somebody doing something in an in-person event, some people like them tight, some people want them loose. I actually had one of my bracelets made by one of my kids that was too big for me. And I was at a soccer game cheering them on. I'm like, yay! And it flew off and it went flying in the grass. So you gotta be careful about too big. There are people that like them big. There's people that like them a little bit, and some people like them snug. So that's the one thing to think about. Just because I like it doesn't mean everybody else likes it. Yep. That's why if I would do this same wire with like 4 and 6 millimeters, it's fine. It's not as tight. The sliding ones, I don't find those as often. I can look for them, but finding them is very difficult. Just to let you know, Joya. So yep, so that's the thing with memory wire for me personally. Everybody's different. Everybody is different. Let's see. We talked about the nylon cords, the satin, the polyester. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning of the live. So the rat tail satin nylon cord has more of a sheen to it than just the nylon cord. And then your polyester cord is not going to be as movable or as the nylon. But when you tie the knots with them, the polyester cord knots stay a lot better than you would with the nylon. And in the step up with the nylon satin, the knots don't stay as well as the nylon. So you have pluses and minuses with each one of the cords. It has to be with what do you want the end result to be. So that's just what I was going to say. I don't use stretch cord on necklaces at all. And so that's just what I have actually crocheted a single crochet wire necklaces with beads. So you would string on beads onto a spool of wire, and then you just do a single crochet and you move beads up as you're doing a crochet, a stitch in that crochet singles. It's just like a chain stitch. That's what I want to say. Chain stitch is all it is, and then you move a bead on there. And all of my bracelets are pretty much stretchy. I do have some that aren't, but most of the time I just gravitate towards stretchy now. I used to wear toggles all the time, especially when I was at in-person events because I wanted to promote them. But as I've gotten into just being quick about getting ready, I go to stretchy. So you can crochet, and you can crochet the same thing that I'm talking about. You can use the nylon cord to create a your chains of it. You know, you guys know what I'm trying to say there. 30K, cool. Hey, we're almost at 9 too. And so you can do that and put beads on the same way. And you don't have to do it by macrame. You guys, we talked about the mammal on Monday, and I didn't wear any jewelry. And she looked at me, she's like, you don't have any jewelry on. I'm like, I purposely did not wear it today. Oh, I purposely did a lot of things so that it would be in and out. And do you know how long it took from when I was put back until I could leave? I was with her less than 10 minutes. So yes. All right, everybody, put the color in. This is a color I don't do very often. So this one might be a little bit harder. And watch, someone will get it right away. Are you done yet? No, it just hit 9 and we're wrapping up. So give me a couple of minutes, okay? Oh, she's going to camp out. She doesn't have school tomorrow.
Or for the next 5 days.
Yep, she doesn't have to go back until Monday. Can we have time off from work like that, everybody?
You did have time off from work.
I did?
Yeah.
When?
This morning.
That's because I was taking Opa everywhere. That was still work.
Not the kind where you have to stay at a computer.
No, I wasn't.
Is that the dog drawing I drew?
Yes.
I still have one left up here.
Yep, it found it. And you know what you left up here?
My animals.
And it was sitting up there, and I hit this, and I knocked it over. So, all right, I'm going to give you guys a clue. It is a flower. The color is a flower. And I got the odds, sorry. Is Opa sleeping on the couch? Is he on the couch? Is he in the bed? Is he sleeping in the bed? Finally!
Huh?
He's finally asleep.
He fell asleep like when I was eating popcorn.
She did get popcorn. It is a Christmas flower.
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
It's a jungle flower. You find it in the jungle. You don't find it during Christmas. That's a cranberry. You know?
Not a poinsettia. I'm thinking orchids. Don't we do orchids at Christmas, or when do we do orchids?
You just told them it was.
It did. Nobody got it. When do we do orchids?
Not during Christmas.
You
We
guys
do
are gonna-
mistletoe.
In the spring. Okay, I was wrong. Wrong holiday. It's Easter.
Clearly.
Ah, my hair just went flying. Okay, let's do an easy one.
Can I pick it? Can I pick it? Please, please, please.
You gotta tell me in my ear here, or show me really quick. What one is that?
This one.
What color is it? What's its name?
It doesn't have a name.
It does on the inside here.
I don't find it.
I got it. Oh, this one is a 2-word one.
That's not the one I wanted.
Well, that's the one we're going with. We're going with this one, everybody. 2 words. I'm like playing with my hair. I'm getting tired. Ryan woke me up at 4 a.m. and I haven't been to sleep since, so I'm getting really tired. I'm gonna go to bed after the live. I will do your list in the morning. I promise y'all, they'll be in the morning.
Today we did class store.
Huh?
Today we did class store.
Oh. And then I'm going to ask a question after we get done with this winning. We still have a lot of different things to go through. Do you guys want to do, and we can talk about this afterwards, so don't put it in the notes. Think about it as you're guessing colors. Do you want to continue in tomorrow's live and skip the mini wristlet till next week? Or do we want to do it next week and do mini wristlet tomorrow?
Wait, all these colors together are ugly.
So 2-word. The first one is something you see outside. The first word.
You see it every single day, other time.
Yep. And
Unless you're blind.
And then the second word is a primary color.
Well, that's the biggest.
There you go. Let's see who got it.
We gave them the easiest.
Geraldine got it first. Nordic Luna second. Robin third.
You gave them
Sky
You
blue.
gave them the easiest hints ever.
Hey, I'm trying to like.
Wait, oh my, this looks so pretty when you put it in rainbow order.
And Maria got it too in rainbow. Oh, that is cool. So, Geraldine, you'll have 5 creative credits. Congratulations. Now, yep, just takes one. Of course she did. Oh, now, you guys, let me know. Option A, tomorrow's tutorial, mini wristlet. Option A. Option B, continue on with our discussion because we didn't even hardly break into it today. So, A or B? Let's see if I can create a poll and you guys can do it. Custom. We'll do it that way. That way.
We haven't used this in so long.
I'm trying to get it so I can do one. Why won't it let me do a new one? Okay, it's not letting me do one. Sorry, everybody. So A or B in the chat. A is that we do... Oh, that may be why I can't get it. Yeah, mods have to do it in the chat, but I can't do a poll. So A in the chat, everybody, if you want to do mini wristlet tomorrow. B, we continue today's discussion tomorrow at 2 p.m. It will always be recorded over on the place where they can be seen on replay. So you guys let me know, A or B. Okay, we got 1 vote in so far.
Oh, what are these?
They're nail tools.
Can I have one?
Honey, they each have a different thing they do.
Can I have one?
Honey, they each have a different thing. So you can't just one moment, but we do it. Repeat. Okay. Repeat, please. A, we do a mini wristlet at 2 p.m. tomorrow. B, we do continue on with what we're talking about today. And if we don't do A tomorrow, we'll do A next week, which might work out. I will tell you. Cece wants to do B. I am getting in the coin wallets, card wallets next week. So the mini wristlets might go on those easier. So maybe we hold off. I just thought about I get those next week. So BB, we'll do it. We'll continue this tomorrow. I'm thinking, unless you guys say differently. The reason why I say, you know what I'm talking about? I don't have an example of them. They are little wallets where you can put a few credit cards or your driver's license in. And there's a little ring on it, a ring on there where you can put the wristlet on it, like a mini wristlet or the large wristlet. So we can do that next week and we'll have those in. And then when we do the silicone event, we can have those up with all the other beadable items. There's like, I'm getting in 15 different colors or patterns. They're colors and there's mostly colors, but there's a few patterns. So we'll do that. We will do mini wristlet next week. Show you how to use it with those. And then I'll make sure that we have that event on a weeknight after I show you the wristlet. That's what I'm going to do. Sorry. Yes, I'm fine. Ryan's just getting over this whole entire infection in here. See, and I've seen people do the sewing ones, and you can also do the same thing with and I didn't talk about that as one of your items, but you can use like faux leathers and stuff or that type of thing, leathers. Yes, we have got him more meds. So hopefully everybody, because we don't want to go into this Thanksgiving with him not feeling good. So we will continue this tomorrow, 2 p.m. Hold on, what do you want to say?
Guess what, guys? I learned how to crochet.
Yeah, she's over here. I learned how to crochet. She can do the chain. And we're getting that. Let me tell you, I know people that love that stuff. So tomorrow we'll be here doing this at 2. At 8 tomorrow night will be a chat. Thursday off, Friday at 2 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. for our event. They're excited that you're learning. All right, everybody. I am going to go get some rest, be fresh tomorrow morning, and we will see you all then. Ah, you guys, they even used your buttercup sticker. It's a good job with the buttercup sticker. And they're excited for you. Okay? Okay. What do you say to them?
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Bye.